Alright, welcome back to Tico Takes, and I just got done watching Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and here's my official review for it. First things first, should you even watch this film? I would say yes. I did enjoy this film. It's like minor critiques I have about it. There's no like glaring like, what the heck was this, you know? It was a lot of like minor things, but I would see this movie. I think this is a really solid movie, and I don't have like a Christopher Nolan bias. This is my first time seeing a Nolan film in theaters because I was, I wasn't young enough to watch, his Batman movies in theaters. And then I never saw Interstellar, never saw Memento, I didn't even see Oppenheimer in theaters. So this is my first Nolan film in theaters. So I don't have like a bias of Nolan. He's like the greatest director or anything. But yeah, I would definitely see this movie, and I am gonna go into spoilers. So if you're looking for like a spoiler-free review, I guess you got like 30 more seconds of it. But then I'm gonna go into spoilers. But yeah, I would definitely go see this film if you just want to see a good movie. Because I don't know if I'm not the only one, but I haven't seen many movies this year. None have really interested me. This was the first one, and obviously I'm gonna see Spider-Man. I'm gonna see Doomsday and Dune. When they come out in December. I'm even curious about the werewolf movie that comes out on Christmas. I'll probably see that, but yeah, not a lot of movies really intrigued me in the first half of 2026. This one caught my attention because obviously Nolan, he makes decent movies, but the story of the Odyssey is a great story. There's a reason this story has stood the test of time, 3,000 years or however old the Odyssey story is, but it's one of the most inspirational stories ever. Not because like the story is inspirational, it kind of is, but it created so many of our future stories. So many of our stories feed off the Odyssey. It's a really simple story. It's about consequences. It's about your consequences and how it comes back to bite you, and you can either just accept them and change as a person, or die with those responsibilities. And really try to make a difference for yourself. And I thought the film definitely captured that well. Literally, the meaning of the story was, you may have done some bad things in your life, but it's never too late to turn around, find faith in whatever you believe in, whether that's the Christianity God or the Greek mythology, gods. Like, it's never too late to find your faith, and you can change and make a difference in this world. And that's the message of this movie. That's the message of the original Odyssey. Yeah, let's go in again to spoilers and all that. So yeah, recap the spoiler-free section. You should see this movie, and the movie's about learning from your consequences and being a better person, finding your faith. I think that's great. But let's not get into the nitty-gritty of it. So, what I like about this movie, first things first, we'll get into the likes. I like the middle and the end of this movie. That's when the movie. I feel like the movie really absolutely started whenever we were introduced to the Trojan War. How the Greeks, used the Trojan horse to get into Troy, and then infiltrated Troy, and then won the war. That's when the movie started for me, because the first, 30 minutes of this movie, whenever it got to the Trojan War scenes, I don't know, it was such a weird pace. It was such a weird pace. It felt really fast and rushed. But once we got to Troy, then the movie it became a different movie. The pacing for every single scene was absolutely perfect, and each scene felt right. But the first part of this movie is pretty messy. It's really fast paced, and if you're not familiar with the story of the Odyssey, check out my video where I explain the whole story. But you absolutely have to watch this movie with some idea of the Odyssey, or else you're gonna be completely lost. You're not gonna know who the characters are, their motivations. If you don't know anything about the Odyssey and you watch the first part of this movie, you're lost. Okay, you're completely lost. But once we get to the Trojan War, then the movie starts. And first things first, I know people were saying Matt Damon was miscast as Odysseus. He did a fine job. It's not a very hard role to play. And Matt Damon's a good actor. He's good with thrillers and comedies. But there's nothing funny about this movie, so he played a straight man, and it's an easy role to play. So I didn't people were acting like this was a total miscast. Most actors can't mess this role up playing the straight man. Okay, maybe if it was Mark Wahlberg playing this role, but Matt Damon's a better actor than Mark Wahlberg. But yeah, Matt Damon was perfectly fine in this movie. I believed him as Odysseus. Okay, I really did. But This movie did a good job of showing how smart he is, especially with first off, the idea of the Trojan horse. Dude, it was so funny in this movie. Just baited Sinan, who is Elliot Page's character, who is not a character in the Iliad or the Odyssey, but they made Sinan a decently big character without being on screen. Pretty interesting. So, Sinan was not informed about the Trojan horse idea, so Sinan's like, where did the army go? Oh, there's troops coming. We're gonna make peace with them because that's why we built the Trojan horse, a gift for Athena. So, the Trojan warriors come and immediately. We're like 5 minutes into the movie. Like, this is the opening scene. Kills Elliot Page's character. I'm like, oh my god. There was so much controversy about Elliot Page's character that he immediately dies in the movie. I thought that was really funny. Nolan's like, Elliot, I know you haven't been cast much since your transition. I'm gonna do you solid. I'm gonna immediately kill you in my movie. I thought that was really funny. And then once we get that, we get a bunch of flashbacks, and that's when the first part of this movie gets really messy. Like, the first 20-30 minutes are just a bunch of flashbacks, and I'm completely lost. We're also flashing back to the present, what's going on in the government, flashing back to the Trojan War. We're flashing back to where Odysseus is now, whenever he was with Calypso, who, we later see how he gets away from Calypso at the end of the movie. But yeah, overall, I thought the middle and the end, just the middle and the rest of the movie was really good. Not even the middle, just like the late first half. I don't know what was going on in the first 20-30 minutes, but it was really disjointed. But the movie was on a steamroll ever since that. It was on an absolute train. The amount, it's I love movies where it's just like one thing, like The Hangover. I love The Hangover because it's one thing, oh, another thing goes wrong, another thing goes wrong, another thing goes wrong. Keeps me on my toes, keeps me entertained. This movie is that. It just doesn't stop with the travesties, okay? Every now and then we'll get little blessings, but this movie is just travesty after travesty after travesty, and just puts Odysseus, who does have plot armor, first off. He does have insane plot armor, but all movies do. All stories have plot armor, but it's just having him get from one bad situation to the next. And I'm gonna assume this is gonna be like a popular thing. People are gonna come out of this movie saying like the Cyclops scene. Hell yeah, that scene was great. I bet people are gonna keep saying that. People will be like, oh man, this scene must be overrated. Everyone's talking. It's the talking point. Nah. If you see this movie, you'll understand, because damn the sound. I thought the dialogue at times, it was hard to hear what the characters were saying, but the sound in the action scenes, holy crap, was absolutely fantastic. And I have like sensitive ears, so I felt it. I felt every single bass in this movie. So yeah, if you're a big sound person, you love being immersed with sound, that like sound gets you into movies, this one's gonna do it for you with the action. Now, the sound, there's nothing memorable about the soundtrack, unfortunately, nothing memorable, which I think is a shame, because Christopher Nolan outright said he wasn't using an orchestra because they didn't exist back then. It's like, what do you mean? What? Then you have Travis Scott, who made the song in the credits. I didn't say for the credits because I know Nolan doesn't do post-credit scenes, but at least the first song, I mean, it wasn't like a rap song, but it was you could tell it was a digitalized made song by Travis Scott, I assume. It's like, well, that didn't exist back then. It's in the credits, it doesn't count because it's not part of the movie. Like, what do you mean you're not gonna have an orchestra? Make a good soundtrack, make a memorable soundtrack. Who cares if they didn't have an orchestra? It was just, the soundtrack wasn't bad, it was just, there was nothing memorable about it. It was just, tribal drums most of the time. But yeah, back to the Cyclops scene. The fact that they didn't use CGI, like there was a couple things they definitely had to use CGI to make. The rock tentacle monster in the ocean, that was definitely CGI. I saw the face, the face it had, that thing was CGI. That was probably the only thing. But yeah, the fact that they did the Cyclops allegedly practical, I think is fantastic. The Cyclops scene, it wasn't just like a short scene. I mean, the Cyclops scene was a chunk of the movie, and I'm glad it was, because it had so much anticipation with it and so much build up. And then, dude, when they stabbed the Cyclops in the eye. Oh my god, the sound! It was horrifying. It was really horrifying. The whatever. I'd love to know behind the scenes what they got to make that Cyclops make that sound, because that was unbearable, which is a good thing. Because if we actually did have something like that, I mean, it's something our human ears just wouldn't be able to just comprehend. A creature like that making a roar in pain. But yeah, Cyclops takes out a bit of Odysseus' crew. Also, I feel like Odysseus' crew didn't even shrink after that. It still felt like he had a crap ton of guys with him, but that's just a minor thing. But that was one of the highlights of the movie, the Cyclops scene. Yeah, and it didn't look stupid, even though it was practical. Right? It looked like maybe that's what a Cyclops would actually look like, which I think was a good job. Because that was one of my worries going to this movie, was that we get a bunch of grounded things that didn't need to be grounded, because it is Christopher Nolan. That's what he does. He grounds things, and luckily that didn't happen here. There was a lot of fantastical elements that were still present. Obviously, he couldn't show Zeus on screen, so what does he do? He uses Zeus's powers and shows how powerful he is. You know, it is storms, okay? And after, you know, Odysseus' crew, you know, eats one of the cattle, you know, he strikes a thunderous storm on them when they're back on the ocean. And that was smart, because I don't want to see a grounded Zeus, or I don't want to see them bring Russell Crowe out to play Zeus or something, you know. Just have the storms take them out and show Zeus that way. Use his powers. They did show Circe, who is more of like a witch than a god. But I really liked how they showed her transitioning his crew into pigs. I thought that was really clever. It looked like if you've seen the trailer for Clayface, that's basically what she does. So obviously she poisons them with whatever was in the food that caused them to transform into pigs, and then she literally just did this. She's rearranging like their face. She's sculpting them into pigs, and it looks just like the end of the Clayface trailer. And I love that, where it's just she's just going like that. She's going in their mouth to bring their teeth back, pig-like. And just morphing all over their head, morphing them into pigs. I thought that was really clever, and a really good effects they did with that. Odysseus talks her back down and shows that, like, you know, not all men are bad. I thought it was a decent message, because most are. Okay, most don't have the best of intentions, but most people are good. I do believe that, and that's what Odysseus said to Circe, basically, without saying it. I thought, I dig that. Okay, I dig that. He had the balls for trying to talk to a woman and say that all men are bad, but he made it work. So shout out to Odysseus. He's a real one. He's a boy. Yeah, that was another standout scene, and it just kept rolling after that. And before I talk about more of the plot, I guess I'll highlight some of the, you know, the big actors in the movie. This is one of the biggest casts of the year. I think it's like this, and obviously, you know, Dune, and then Avengers Doomsday when it comes like the biggest cast, the most stacked cast of the year. John Bernthal played John Bernthal as what was his name? Menelaus. Also, side note, I don't know if this is like, I think this is like the case in the actual Odyssey, but like, why does Agamemnon care way more about starting the Trojan War than Menelaus? Dude, when Menelaus is showing off, you know, Helen of Troy to Telemachus, I guess she got like beat up during the war. She had like a scar over her eye. He's like, huh, more like 500, you know? It's like, dude, what the hell? Like, he really did not care. He was there fighting. He was in the Trojan horse. You know, he wanted to save his wife, but Agamemnon cared way more. Started a whole war of it. I thought that was funny. It's like, why does he care way more than the dude's actual wife? You know, he cares way more about Helen than his brother. But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, John Bernthal played John Bernthal. He was fine. Tom Holland. It felt weird. Here's his American accent. It's like, I don't know why no one made a decision to make Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland, you know, British actors in a European movie. It's a Greek. It's based on a Greek story. It's in Europe. Why are they in American accents? I guess I kind of see where it's going, because then every single actor had to match the accent, because they're all the same. They're all Greek. But it's just like, it felt weird. Like, Pattinson made it work, but like Tom, it just sounded like Peter Parker to me, you know, it's with the way he was talking. But yeah, Tom Holland was fine. Robert Pattinson was a standout. Put his all into it. Tom Holland was okay. Tom's not the greatest actor, you know. He's always okay, and I'm fine with that. I know people were before this movie came out were saying that like he was like a detriment to the film. His acting was terrible. His acting's not terrible, so I don't know where they're getting that from. But he's okay. I guess they expected him to blow the roof off, but that wasn't the point of his character. It was Odysseus' story. It's not Telemachus' story. You know, Telemachus. I really want to say Telemachus, but it's for whatever reason I just forget how to pronounce his name, so I just go the American way, say Telemachus. But Robert Pattinson is so good at playing a bad guy. I love when he plays a bad guy. He is so snarky. He's so confident. He was a good part of this movie for sure. He was the head of the suitors, who are basically these people that are trying to get Penelope, Odysseus' wife, to remarry throughout the film, and they're basically trying to take over Ithaca in the absence of Odysseus. So he was really good in that role. And then the controversy of this movie, you know, Helen of Troy, played by Lupita Nyong'o, over her race. Now, I'm not a history expert, but was there black people in Greece back then? Probably not, and if they were probably slaves. So I don't understand why he casted Lupita, even though Lupita is another one of these actresses that are okay. You know, she's not like A-list, but she's also not terrible. So it's not like it's not like the acting chops got her this role, because Helen of Troy was nothing in this movie. Helen of Troy had nothing to do in this movie. A couple lines of dialogue. I remember she was in an interview saying, you know, she must have a burden, you know, being the most beautiful woman. I want to explore what's underneath that. You didn't get a chance to. What are you talking about? Your goal with this character is explore who is she underneath. There was no point in saying that because you didn't get to. She was saying how the story's told from a female perspective. Like, the closest thing is Zendaya's character, Athena, who like, she wasn't Athena, but she kind of was. She took on the appearance, like, she looked like a Zendaya because of trauma, I think. Because at the very end of the movie, we see that Odysseus, you know, from the very jump, had regret about this. It's why he was the only one that survived all this, because during the chaos and all that, during the Trojan War, he's not out here just killing people to kill people. As soon as Agamemnon aura formed into the war, that was a great scene where as soon as the gates open, it's just Agamemnon. But he was the only one that had remorse while everything was going down, and it's why he's the only one to survive the Trojan War. I think that's the message of this. If you do have remorse about something, you can make a change. If you're aware enough, you can make a change, and you can make betterment of yourself. A girl that looked like Zendaya was brutally executed for no reason, beheaded for no reason, basically. So he felt immense guilt after that, and then I guess, like, because he believes in Athena, he kept praying to Athena throughout the whole movie. So whenever he did see Athena, she looked like Zendaya's character, I guess because of guilt. So I thought that was interesting. Zendaya was okay. She's another actress where she's okay. That's fine by me, you know. Is she in like everything now? A little bit, but it's not gonna make me hate her, you know. She's a fine actress. I think it was very funny we never saw Benny Safdie's face, because he's got a baby face, but he's playing, you know, a big ass, you know, king. Okay, and we never saw his face. I think we maybe saw his eyes whenever he got murdered by Helen of Troy's sister. I don't even know if she actually has a sister. Whenever I was reading the Odyssey, I don't remember hearing about her having a sister. So I don't know that Nolan just made that up, but whenever he returned home after the Trojan War, he gets brutally murdered by his wife. Okay, that's why we saw him in Hades with Sinan, who, like I said earlier, was an addition to this movie, was killed off very early on, but basically was the ghost of Achilles. I see why that rumor stuck. I perfectly see why that rumor freaking stuck, because Sinan was Achilles, because we saw the ghost of Achilles, but it was Sinan. And then Odysseus uses his fake name when he gets back to Ithaca. He uses the name Sinan because Sinan was the bravest warrior he ever met. It's more of a guilt thing. I do think that's like a little bit of breaking the fourth wall. I think Chris Nolan is trying to say that, Ellen Page was brave for transitioning. I think that's the metaphor. Okay, sure. There's a lot of memorable things. The Cyclops scene, the Cersei scene. I love the scene whenever Zeus is punishing the men for eating the cattle. And I like the message. If you feel remorse about something, and you have faith, it's bound good things are gonna happen to you. And Odysseus, he learned from every lesson the gods were telling. It ended up working out for him. He stayed faithful, and I like the message of the movie. Maybe this will get people who aren't faithful to believe in something. I hope that's what people take from this movie, and I hope it's not so much about like the race swapping and including, Elliot Page in this movie. Like I don't necessarily think Lupita Nyong'o should have played Helen of Troy. I mean, why not just make it someone who's Greek passing? Why not for a role that was so insignificant? Why not cast someone who's Greek? I'm a big proponent of, if you can pass as like whatever race or ethnicity you're going for, fine by me. But the fact no one was Greek was in the movie is a little ridiculous to me. Like, it is the Greek story. Have at least one Greek person in it. It's not gonna make me hate the movie. I know, but I know that's a big deal. But why not make Helen of Troy Greek? Why'd you need to cast and pay Lupita Nyong'o a bunch of money for something so insignificant? It made such a big deal. Then people obviously are gonna have a problem with Elliot Page being cast. Which, me personally, like, you can transition and all that. It's good for you. It doesn't affect me, so I don't necessarily have the biggest problem with that. And plus, like, Elliot, at least as far as I know, Elliot Page doesn't like talk, like, bash people. She doesn't bash the straight white dads like Millie Alcock was. So or maybe I'm wrong, but maybe Elliot Page does talk immense shit. But as far as I know, just pretty to themselves kind of person. Maybe too much. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of unnecessary controversy. That's somewhat warranted. Like, I don't think they needed the race swap. Because I truly don't believe that. Even though this is a fictional story, why not make it believable? But I thought the casting was fine. Other than that, most people were Greek passing, and like the guy that was like second fiddle to Odysseus and his crew, he was clearly like a Muslim person. Was there Muslims in Greek? I don't know off the top of my head. Probably not. So I don't know if they had Muslim people in Greece, but it's just like little things like that. It's not gonna make me hate the movie, but it's like, do you really need to cast that person? The fact that they casted I forget the guy's name, but he played the Pilgrim in The Punisher season 2. Criminal Minds. He's the husband to one of the main characters. It was cool to see him, because I knew pretty much every major actor in this movie. I didn't know he was in the movie, so it was cool to see him do his thing. But yeah, overall, I like the movie. I like the message. I thought the dialogue volume needed to be up. It was hard to hear what they were saying at times, but I understood most of what they're saying. I love the sound during the action scenes. Pulverized me because I have sensitive ears, but I'm cool with that. I felt something. And I really liked the lighting during, like, the ocean scenes and all that. It should feel, it shouldn't be bright because it's not bright what's going on. Also, Zeus is pissed over the clouds, so it's gonna be darker than normal. But like, I wasn't mesmerized by Ithaca, during the daytime. I thought the colors were a tad muted for my liking. I wanted to be like dumbfounded, or I don't know if that's the right word, but I want to be astonished by by Ithaca, because it's fictional. I wanted to be like, there's no way that's real. So I didn't like the colors in the daytime as much, but minor things. These are all minor things I'm picking on. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I think you should watch it. And if you're one of those people, it's like, I'm not gonna watch this movie because of the casting and all that. It's like, that's perfectly fine. That's up to you. But I wouldn't make that a big deal, to be quite honest, because it doesn't really affect the movie at all. If you really have a problem with Elliot Page, then this movie might be rough for you because he's in the opening scene and then brought back later in the film as like a big like proponent of Odysseus' guilt and is part of his arc. So if you have a problem with that actor, then maybe you won't like this movie. But minor things, man. It's minor things. Overall, this was a great film. I think you should watch it. And that's my take on it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Did you like this movie? Did you hate it? Were you mad about it? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I got a Spider-Man Brand New Day related video coming out every single day for the rest of the month. So make sure to subscribe and check those videos out. But yeah, I enjoyed this film, and hopefully you guys did too. And if not, let me know. Would really appreciate you guys. God bless you all.